Welcome back to Inside Sources. As we continue our conversation on the future of Nigeria, today we have a special guest. She's a professor of pharmaceutics, manufacturing, and drug evaluation. She's also the first African woman to be a fellow of the American Association of Pharmaceutics. She's currently the Director General of NAFDAC, and she's here on Inside Sources. Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
And thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you. All
right. So before we get into your area of specialization, I wanted you to also talk about what is going on in the country. It seems that quite a bit of our people, especially young people, are not happy with the state of things. There has been protests all over the place. Government says that, look, we're going to take care of it. What do you have to say about the situation?
Oh, wow. The situation in our country is a reflection of 6 decades of decadence. 6 decades of decadence. I was young when we got our independence, and I knew Nigeria that worked. I knew Nigeria that worked.
Interesting.
We left the country for further studies in 1980.
Yeah.
And we were part of the ones that fought for the democracy of this country. My husband and others.
Professor Shola Adeyeye.
Yes, fought for the democracy of this country with our current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Some of them had broken homes. Some of those, our men in diaspora, because they were not there. They were always begging other countries to help us, to deliver us.
From military rule?
From military rule then. At a point, one of my friends said, Auntie Moji, is something wrong with you and your husband?
That was in the U.S.
In the U.S. Because he was teaching on Tuesday and Thursday. And those are the days that he was present at home. Going with other leaders of Nigeria to beg other countries to help us. So I take whatever is happening now personally. That was what made him to come back home after 22 years.
Yeah, he came back in 1999.
In 2002.
Okay, and he contested?
He contested as chairman of his local government. Actually, no, he was an interim chairman.
Okay, yes.
And people were shocked as to what happened to his Ifedayo local government within 1 year. Before he came, there was no light for 6 months.
This was in Osun State?
In Osun State, Ifedayo, Osun Central. There was no light for 6 months. It brought light back.
To the local government.
There was no water for maybe decades, 17 years or so. There was water. He was wearing knicker.
To walk.
To walk. And they said, oh, you're supposed to be wearing agbada. He said, really? It was the best job he ever did.
Considering the fact that he had been professor in the US.
In the US. So what is happening now, I take it personally.
Wow.
I was there for 37 years because I had to take care of the children. You know, both of us couldn't come. We call it war front. Some of my friends in the church said, why didn't you follow Shola to Nigeria? I said, really? Do you follow a soldier to the war front?
I like that.
Yeah. Wow. Because we still have to keep the family. He sacrificed a lot. So are others.
Yeah.
In the pro-democracy movement.
Yes.
37 years, I came back. And of course, my profession is pharmacy.
Right.
I was a professor for 30 years before I retired from the US system. And I came back to a country that I couldn't recognize in terms of our values, in terms of the state of the pharmaceutical industry, in terms of the state of the quality of medicine or generally healthcare delivery. That's why I started with it is a result of 6 decades of decadence. Our third, the new national anthem, O God of all creation, and the last 2 stanzas, in peace and plenty, may Nigeria be blessed. In peace and plenty. We are not looking for utopian system. It will not happen.
There's no utopia.
However, our people deserve the best within the context of our resources.
Right.
But our values have gone. Our values have gone. And it started from the home. If the parents are not doing what they're supposed to do, if the church or the mosque are not doing what they're supposed to do,
if they're not preaching what
if they're not preaching what they're supposed to do, to preach rather, if the schools are not the way they're supposed to be, if the universities are not what they're supposed to be, it goes right up to the highest level of functionality of a society. So what is happening now is very, very painful for me. I'm a realist because after 37 years
abroad,
and coming back, I could say, oh, I'm going to heaven, I'm going to a heaven. No, the reality is there that you've got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
You've got to give something. We were very comfortable in the US, but it's not all about comfort.
Yeah.
It's all about making significant impact to change the society.
Yeah.
In peace and plenty, may Nigeria be blessed. We cannot be blessed without
peace.
Without a transparent society. We cannot be blessed if we have corruption. Corruption has eaten to the fiber of the society.
This is true.
When I got to NAFDAC, I met 3.2 billion naira debt.
Wow.
And 500 million naira that between maybe between August and September, October, November, 500 million naira. I said, hello.
What happened to 500 million?
There was no account really for it that was spent just before.
Oh, just before you came in?
Just before I came in. So the 3.2 is there.
Well, is it there?
Billion debt. Then 500 million. Yes.
You couldn't account for?
They couldn't really account. I said, did you have a capital project? That time, bear in mind, 1 million naira is $2,000.
Yeah.
So $2,000 times 500 million. I'm coming from the US, where money is hard to get.
Me too.
You work hard for your money. You know, I could have said, oh, there's no way. I've given up. No. I saw an opportunity and I seized it. Tough. I said, if this were the US, NAFDAC could have been declared bankrupt. And then a financial house would be managing our finance. But we didn't even have money. So I didn't have money to hire a financial house. My point is, we have enough endowment in this country to make things better. And I'm using NAFDAC as an example.
Yeah.
I met debt on the ground. I said, hello, I'm going to cut to the bone. I'm going to cut to the bone. I'm going to be using technology to ensure that our system moves on. We started Zoom in March 2018.
Okay. Zoom meetings.
Zoom meetings, virtual meetings.
And by the way, you came in 2017.
I came in 2017, November.
Yeah.
And many people didn't like it because travel, DTA, money.
Yeah.
Because we have to save.
So you have been doing Zoom meeting even before
the pandemic.
Interesting.
Yes, because we have to save. How can we plug the holes where money was gushing from? That is what we are supposed to do as a nation. And this present government has that opportunity. When I got to NAFDAC, it was, aside from the debt, there was so much disunity
among the staff.
Everybody was working in their own, cliques. No lab, no equipment in the lab, no vehicles for inspection. Not a single director had a laptop in 2017 that NAFDAC bought.
Oh. So how were they working?
Maybe first principle.
Manually.
Writing everything down,
And this was 2017?
This was 2017 November. Literally 2018. But I said, things must change. We have to change our mindset.
Absolutely.
The way God works is mysterious in my own life because I had the opportunity to be in an institution where things didn't work when I got there. And the president that got there a few months before me said, the brains of everybody needs to be washed. This is the US. And we started what is called quality management system, where you think of your customer, where you think of the people you are delivering services to. And that we need transparency, lack of corruption, or mitigation of corruption.
Significant mitigation.
Yes. Sacrifice, we started that. Again, I'm using NAFDAC as a microcosm.
Right.
Because we have enough in this country to make life manageable. We don't have a lot of money as a country. But if we manage it well,
we will be okay.
We will be okay. And I believe President Tinubu knows how to do that. We fought together in the trenches because the families are the same,
Yeah.
So what is happening now, I want to liken it to what I met in NAFDAC. I said we started quality management system. We started benchmarking ourselves against the best in the world.
Oh, wow.
Not against ourselves. You cannot compare yourself with yourself.
Exactly.
You cannot even compare yourself with somebody at your level. You have to compare yourself with somebody at yes. But it's patience. It is patience. Up till now, we are not there yet. And we started 6 years ago. And that is what I will want our people in Nigeria to realize. That we have to be patient. But we have to tell the truth also to our leaders.
It's important.
I don't surround myself with sycophants. I have my kitchen cabinet. I will ask them, what do you think? What do you think? I put the interest of the country first before my interest. If we can be patient and let this government work, I believe things will happen. Why? Because President Tinubu understands how things can work. However, it will take a lot of sacrifice, a lot of wisdom, a lot of who you surround yourself with, a lot of saying no.
Yeah.
When it's difficult to say no. I don't give bribes, I don't take bribes. I don't give bribes, I don't take bribes. Yeah. That doesn't mean that I cannot help people, or you're looking for a job for your people. They have to be qualified.
Yeah.
They will have to go for exam.
Right.
They have to go for interview.
Right.
Just to do things with due diligence. So I will just tell our people, we need to be patient. I understand where they are coming from. But by the grace of God, and I don't use God flippantly.
Okay.
In peace and plenty, may Nigeria be blessed.
Amen.
Transparency, mitigation of corruption. Let us say no.
And sacrifice.
Those are the types of attributes that will make things change.
Thank you for your opening remarks, and I like the perspective that you have taken. And you've raised quite a number of issues. Talked about the fact that we have to reduce corruption. Yes. There has to be transparency, and there has to be sacrifice. So do you believe that, or how do you think we can pass this message to young people?
Living by example. Living by example. I have 3 children. They know what I can do, what I cannot do. They know where yes is yes, no is no. We have to live by example. And children can be very forgiving.
That's true.
Once they know that the adults are changing, they will tune in. So we just have to live by example, using some of the attributes that I mentioned. Reduce corruption, be very transparent.
And be ready to sacrifice.
Unfortunately, our children were not brought up that way. That is why the adults have to work twice as hard or 3 times as hard to make them understand. Actually, to apologize. What I enjoyed as a child, many of the children are not enjoying. The trust that I have in the system is not there. And we caused it. Our generation caused it. So that is part of the reason why we have to embrace them and reason with them. Reason with them that we understand this, and just to be transparent, nothing cooked up, what they want to hear, but living by example.
And that will solve a lot of problems. I can imagine, because if people see the examples, and just like you make the analogy of parents, I'm a father of 2 children myself. So, and I know the power of example. They look up to you. And it's not what you say. It's actually
what you do.
They're looking at what you do. All right. Okay. So let's come to your role, your work as the Director General of NAFDAC. You've been in office since 2017.
Yes.
What will you consider? And you've said quite a lot of things, even in your introduction. Maybe I should ask you first that what have you been able to change? Especially based on what you said at the beginning, what you meant. How have you been able to change the situation? How will you describe what has happened since 2017?
I'm trying to make every staff to feel part of the system. We just finished a series of leadership training.
Oh, excellent.
And anti-corruption, leadership and anti-corruption training for our 2,000 staff.
Oh, great. Because
we need to change the mindset. I mentioned 6 decades of decadence.
Yeah.
And some of these young people are part and parcel of that period in our history. So we do a lot of training and emotional intelligence. I was a professor for 30 years, and I was in a system where you can predict
what will happen.
Not here. You cannot predict many times. So what the skills that I've learned included more emotional intelligence. My first day, resumption, I met the directors and I met the union. Because the union was always on strike. Always on strike. And I met them, discussed with them that we are in this together. I want to be sure that the workforce is motivated, but you have to also discipline them.
Yeah.
Motivated workforce and disciplined workforce. It's like you have a child, you spank the child, but you also use the other hand to caress and make the child to know why were you disciplined, not punished. So this emotional intelligence, aside from the fiduciary discipline, making sure that things don't ooze out and whatnot,
right,
is making them to feel that they are part of the system.
Team. Yeah.
Yes. One of my directors, when I first got in, I did restructuring.
Right.
Governance is extremely important.
Very true.
And you have to be ready to be alone, to feel lonely as a leader.
It's lonely at the top.
Yes, to feel lonely, but lonely in a good way.
Yeah, yeah.
So this director said, there's a new sheriff in town was talking to the staff that all the corruption in the past should stop. That he learned that some of you were corrupt, and they all dropped their heads. And then one person raised their hand up and said, "Sir, it is all of us that are corrupt."
Oh.
That was what the staff group told this director. He said that because the DG was doing it, so they did it too. Living by example. You know, we spend a lot of time in NAFDAC. We are short-staffed. We're supposed to be like, yes, we're supposed to be like 5 times, 6 times what we have now.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And when you now you know that a staff is working in that type of environment, the more you need to recognize the sacrifice.
Right.
Communication, extremely important. And that's part of transparency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I call a staff on WhatsApp, we may end up later with 7-6 staff on that same WhatsApp call.
Wow.
Because I want the information to go around. Not to, I don't want somebody to misquote me. And I don't like to repeat myself. You know. So this financial discipline, strong governance, motivated workforce, disciplined workforce, these are working for us. We're not there yet. And that's what I want Nigerians to know. Since decades of decadence, it cannot change overnight.
Yeah.
But we need to have the right people in the right places to do the right things.
Interesting. So, and I'm sure that you're going to be seeing the fruits, of what seems to be the hard work. And of course, because I was also in government part of when you were appointed, so I have a lot of insight into some of the work that you are doing. But I wanted us to also discuss, the issue of ease of doing business. So you have a lot of people, especially young people, who are coming up with ideas, skincare here and there, even food-related, water, and all kinds of very, tantalizing business ideas.
Exactly.
And they say that, well, it takes forever to get their product registration. With NAFDAC, there are those who even say that, oh, well, there's so much documentation that is required, that you have to come up with a standard operating procedure, at times they have to do laboratory testing of their product. While it's about safety, but I wanted to ask you, so how do you balance these things so that, at the end of the day, you can encourage those who really have the passion, the capacity, the readiness, the willingness to actually do innovative things and create their businesses? That's
a very, very good topic that you have brought. I got to NAFDAC 2017, and I believe MSMEs was launched early 2017.
Yes. The MSMEs clinics.
Yes, but nothing was really done on the ground. Because there was a lot of internal chaos, So one DG left, another DG came, So literally we started MSMEs in 2018. It's not just MSMEs that we have. We have N MSMEs, nano.
Nano, it was smaller than...
Yes. I was brought up by my mother and my grandmother, who were traders. I love to count pennies and add them up when I was small, So I understand MSMEs very well. However, we started a journey, NAFDAC. We started a journey of quality, doing things from the quality perspective in 2018. At the same time, we started the WHO global benchmarking, where we have to ensure, first of all, the quality management system is about thinking of the customer and documentation. For global benchmarking, we had 868 recommendations to meet.
Wow.
about
800.
868 recommendations or 267 indicators that we have to meet. Each indicator may be 3 recommendations, 4 recommendations.
Wow.
And there is no, please, can you forgive? It's either you get 100 or you don't.
Okay, it's either pass or fail.
Pass or fail.
Oh, wow.
You know, so we started that journey in 2018. And that was when we also started MSMEs. I mentioned that we are chronically short-staffed. Now we were now given the MSMEs project that we need even 2 times, 3 times of the staff that we're supposed to have. So that created a conundrum. Okay, we want to do MSMEs. No computer, no director has a laptop. We didn't have vehicles.
Wow.
The lab, 70 to 80% of the equipment were not working.
Wow.
Because somebody is nano or micro doesn't mean we will not test the product. We have to test the product. When they talk about cholera, that maybe it is linked to some homemade juice. It wasn't registered with us, but that could be classified as nano. But it caused a lot of health issues. We have decreased, right from the word go, MSMEs pay very, very little amount, 37,000 naira, compared to millions, for big companies. But to register. But we still use the same scientific methods to do the laboratory testing.
Oh, wow.
We still have to go and inspect. However, we created an incentive that you don't have to build, you have a big building, you can even use your kitchen. If you are doing chin-chin, you are doing puff-puff or whatever, you can use your kitchen, just divide your kitchen up. If you are using cooking utensils, separate cooking utensils that you are going to be using for the regular one.
Right.
You have children, maybe dedicate, maybe 10 to 2 to do your business. When they are out in school or wherever.
Okay, you mean in the morning?
Yes, cottage.
Time,
Exactly. Kitchen, cottage industry type of thing.
Right.
So that is an incentive that we gave them. During the pandemic, for, was it 90 days or 6 months?
Yeah.
We gave 80% off.
Of the
registration.
Or the cost of registration.
Cost of registration.
Oh, wow.
Because we know that many people struggle at the beginning, but once they become successful, they will be a little bit better off. But all these need staff. It is staff that will go to the market to do risk-based post-approval or post-marketing surveillance. So, but it is very, very tough. Now, when we got to level 3, it was like we are just starting because everybody now sees us. I'm now 3 times, 4 times busier than before when we get there because we are now recognized worldwide.
Okay.
That NAFDAC is coming up. When NAFDAC talks, people listen. Now.
Anyway, it's a good thing because you've been given the second term. So we are hoping and praying that God will give you the strength and the ability with your team.
Thank you.
To get there. I have a last question because of our time that I also would like to ask you. So, what do you think about the role and place of women in national development? We've had situations where even a bill has gone up in the National Assembly to create some kind of quota system, affirmative action for women. In the last National Assembly, it didn't go through; it fell through, but I think it's coming back again. Now, do you think that kind of thing can help, or what's your own view? How can we get more women involved in the political process or generally in national development?
Because
we need to.
First of all, I need to thank my husband because he's sacrificing a lot. That I'm working this hard at this time in our life.
That's true.
Any country that doesn't include women in their governance, that country is not going to grow.
I agree.
That country is not going to grow.
And that's why it's such an important issue.
Because God has given everybody endowment. boys, girls, women, men,
different
endowments to contribute to the society. If it's going to be done by quota, why not? We are missing out. We are missing out big time if we don't involve women. Let me tell you about women. We are wired differently, physiologically, compared to men.
I agree.
But we are wired differently for the purpose of a stable society, so that the society will be stable.
True.
Men, they go straight and they know where they are going. Women, we would think, what of if this, what of that, what of that. The two combined, wow.
Yeah.
That is why any country that leaves women out, that country is missing a lot. And that society cannot grow. Because we have different ways of looking at things, but when the two genders come together to now reason together, magic happens.
Magical, wow. Well, I agree with you entirely, myself, that, you know, we have to find ways to bring more women. Women have look at your perspective, you know, even at the beginning of the program, are very unique and honest, frank, but yet very, very acceptable. Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, the Director General of NAFDAC. Thank you for your views. Thank you for supporting Professor Shoda Adeyeye, you know, and thank you for being part of the struggle. Even, you know, I'm sure with Nalicon and NADECO in the US, I knew quite a bit of that. You know, and thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate your service to the country.
Thank you.